Rebirth could have been avoided had someone not been hangry. We could have been spared this abortion of a movie.
Come on, man, you've been riding me all day.
Mike, you're playing like Betty White out there.
That's not what your girlfriend said.
Baby!
Whoa.
Eat a Snickers. Better?
Boy, oh boy, was I let the fuck down. I mean, where do I start? Everybody pretty much knows the Jurassic Park franchise. Dinosaurs run loose on the island, and Scarlett Johansson, fine ass, comes to save the day. The trailers for this movie gave me hope for a new chapter in the franchise. I'm thinking, oh, hey, this is gonna be a Black Widow meets Jurassic Park. You know, I was expecting Scarlett Jo to be out there lassoing dinosaurs and shooting them to the ground and all. Man, I had high hopes based off that trailer, and oh boy was I let down. I'd have to give this a 1.5 stars out of 5, and that's only because I saw it in D-Box. So where do I even start? This video is more of a rant than a review, so let's hit it with the spoilers. So as I stated earlier, the film revolves around Scarlett Johansson and company going to the third island of the Jurassic Park world to get some dinosaur DNA, as you saw in the trailer. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So why in the fuck was this movie almost 2.5 hours long? Well, I'll tell you. Let's start with the fact that we have this family who is inconsequential to the fucking story. You can completely remove the 30 minutes dedicated to this dumbass family, which I will detail later. You can remove them from this movie and nothing would change. It would actually make the story better and compact. It would fix the pacing in this movie, because them being there added nothing of value. The thing I thought that it could have added value towards the end, because of what the youngest daughter does in this family, which is befriends a dinosaur. I thought that was going to be like the baby version of the D-Rex, and that's what stopped the attack, which would have been whack, but it would have been better than what we got. We got the most anticlimactic ending I've ever seen. I was waiting for one of two things to happen. I was waiting for the baby dinosaur of Isabella, that's the little daughter name, to turn out to be the D-Rex's offspring, or I was waiting for the infamous T-Rex comes to save the day, which I'm glad didn't happen, because I'd have just walked out the movie theater at that point. And I don't know why the fuck they decide that they have to have a flare in all of these movies. Every character that's in this movie has to do the flare scene. Like, I get it. You don't have to call back so many. The T-Rex is in there. That's callback enough. I don't need callbacks to all the... Let this be its own. This is another story in the Jurassic Park universe. Let's move on. It doesn't have to be a callback to everything. I mean, we've relabeled this Rebirth. Okay? That means we're moving on. We're starting a new chapter in this god-awful series. Everything after Jurassic Park 1 and Jurassic World, I just kind of throw to the wayside. Even Jurassic World, you know what? You can just throw all this shit out. Everything after Jurassic Park 1, throw it all out and start again. Back to what I was saying. So this family could have been removed completely from this fucking film, and it would have made it 10 times better. They forced this annoying ass character. This had rapid fire jokes for no reason. That's not what the Jurassic Park, that's not how it started. I know you can end on another note. You know, here's the starting point and then here's the ending point, or here's the journey, but it's acceptable only if it makes sense. Only if the characters make sense. And the progression of this series from Jurassic Park 2 up until now, none of it makes sense. None of it is consistent. And I haven't watched every one of them, but I know it's still not consistent. Because even in this movie, it's not consistent. So we have expository archaeologist, doctor, who just tells us everything that's going on. Even though the movie had us read shit earlier in the film, when the film first started, they had us read this. Only to a few minutes later, have it be repeated to us again. And then halfway through the film, repeat it to us again. And I'm just like, yeah, this solidified that this era of movie making is for the social media TikTokers and IG reels, because you have to be told information multiple times to keep the crayon eating motherfuckers attention and help them stay on track throughout the film. They can't recall what happened earlier in the point of the film for some reason. So expository doctor is just going in on just saying everything that's happening and telling us shit that he shouldn't know at certain times. There's like, he walks into a lab at a certain point and Mahershala Ali's character says, "What is this place?" He said, "It's a lab. This is where they grow the mutants." And I'm just like, there's no way you would know that. You're an archaeologist. Yeah, they wouldn't give you that kind of information on something that wasn't part of the park. This is like a black ops. It was said by the evil character earlier, this was like a black budget, or he called it an R&D budget. So how in the hell did you know what this facility was? Like, come on now. There's no off-site facilities says, hey, we mutate animals here. They don't have, nothing on the paperwork says it, unless he didn't even read paperwork while they were in there. He just looks at the facility and says, oh yeah, I know exactly what this is. It's so fucking retarded. So you got that. Back to this family. This has got to be the dumbest family I've ever seen. And this applies to everybody, but specifically this family. All the characters do dumbass shit. They make the dumbest decisions ever. Characters stand around and just yell characters' names while they're being drug off by a dinosaur or whatever peril they're in. They stand still. The director says, hit your mark. When I say action, they hit their mark, yell the name, and then don't do anything. They don't go attempt to save the person, attempt to anything. And it's mind-boggling, to be honest. So this family is stupid, but this dad gets Dumbest Dad of the Year award because he allows his daughter to be thrown off a boat. He looks at her, doesn't yet, mind you, he has experience sailing. He does not yell once to the captain, hey, man overboard, let's stop the ship. You know, my daughter went overboard. Nope. He just hits his mark and yells her name. Doesn't attempt to dive in there. The boyfriend ends up diving in after her and saving her. And then later on, she says, you know, you saved me. And he says, no, I didn't. And I'm just like, what kind of... The dialogue is atrocious. This dad is dumb. So that's dumb decision he made, number one. Dumb decision number two, they jump off the boat before the boat gets to where they're going. So they jump off in the middle of... He tells his whole little family to jump off the boat for some reason. And it's just like, wait, what? I get it. You want to save your daughter, but no, you can easily tell them to haul around and get them. Not once did he try to do that. He's just like, oh, you know what? She fell off the boat. He dove in after her. Now we're just going to jump off the boat too. It just makes no fucking sense. That's dumb decision number two. Dumb decision number three, he's allowing his little daughter, Isabella, to roam around this unfamiliar area of where dinosaurs are. Okay? And she just happens to befriend this little dinosaur, this baby dinosaur. And it's like, no, what are you doing? Why would you let her? You don't know what this animal is. You have no knowledge or no fake knowledge or real knowledge of this fucking dinosaur. What it is, and if it actually is a herbivore, an omnivore, or a carnivore. You don't know anything. And you don't know where the mama or the daddy is. You could have been tracked by the mom and the dad because you had the baby. And if the story would have done that, I would have been, hey, that's what's up. But this family should have died the moment they got separated from the main crew. So that's dumb decision number 3 he made. Dumb decision number 4, there's a scene where they're going to find a boat, essentially. His leg is injured, so he can't really do it. He sends his oldest daughter across the river to get the boat. She says, don't worry, I'll do it, and tells the boyfriend to stay there with the dad. And as a father, fuck no. If I can't do it, I'm sending your boyfriend. And if he can't do it, then we just ain't doing it at all. I'm not sending neither one of my daughters to do anything until we at least survey the landscape. So she goes over there, and then this film is full of contrivances and conveniences. Everything is convenient. There's a broken boat that she sees. She goes over there, it's broken. So then she finds an inflatable boat.
Convenient.
So when she finds this boat, there's a dinosaur that was just finished eating another dinosaur. This dinosaur sees the T-Rex. And that's another thing in this film. Everybody's blind. These big ass dinosaurs, when they're on screen, they rumble. They're loud. But when they're off screen and when you first meet them, they're fucking ninjas. You can't hear them. You can't smell them. You can't see them. So she couldn't see this big ass T-Rex that's literally laying maybe 50 feet from the boat. She couldn't hear him or see him. He rolls over in grass that's not even tall. The grass is barely taller than her. So how the fuck is this covering up this big ass T-Rex? So anyway, the T-Rex is asleep. She's pulling out the inflatable boat. The dad and family are waving at her like, no, leave it alone. You're going to wake him up. So she ends up waking the damn T-Rex up. The T-Rex at one point is smart. Then at another point is dumb. At one point, the T-Rex bites the inflatable boat and it doesn't even pop. I mean, this film is garbage. So this is one of the worst dads. All right. Scarlett Johansson's character. How is she? She's a Black Widow extra light, like a hint of Black Widow. She plays a character that is supposed to be special ops, but it's not written well. And this movie is a waste of talent. You got Scarlett Johansson, you got Mahershala Ali, and then you got Francis.
What's my name? Ooh, I'm gonna fucking spell it out for you.
He's the only character I like. And they did my boy dirty. Hashtag justice for Francis. All these people are good actors. Even the damn archaeologist. He was good. And it's all wasted talent by this dumbass script. The motivations for Scarlett Johansson were super weak to get her to come on this little adventure. And if the movie was shorter, I'd give it a pass. But since the movie was 2.5 hours long, I can't give shit like that a pass. There is a whole lot of extended jokes that all these characters do, and it's just annoying. It's rapid fire jokes that don't land. Only one landed, and it was with the annoying boyfriend from Isabella's family. And that was the only joke that I chuckled, almost laughed out loud. But the rest of this was just like, can we please move on? They try to follow up on jokes that were made earlier, and then I'm just like, no, it's not landing well. Please stop.
Stop! He's already dead.
So her character was flimsy. All the characters were flimsy. And like I said, it wouldn't be that bad if the movie was shorter. And then you have Mahershala Ali's character. You know, they gave him a semi backstory. You know, he's missing his son that had passed away, and they, you know, okay, cool. They tried to make that a recurring thing in this film, but again, you spend too much time with the family of bozos that it took away from the time to build those heart-wrenching moments. And that's another thing. So in these emotional scenes that are setting up the characters' backstories and stuff, there's these weird ass music cues that don't even go with half of them, and I'd say most of them. And it's just like, okay, yeah, this is not working. The lines aren't delivered well. It's a combination of they was collecting the check and the script is just that bad. It's one of those things like, you know what? I know this is a bad script. I'ma just have fun with it. And whatever happens, happen. I'm not putting too much effort into this. And it just shows throughout this whole film. I really can't even gather my thoughts to even go over the plot because the plot was paper thin. So we have the archaeologist who initially states that they have to get DNA from these 3 animals and they have to be alive. But then they get 2 from a living animal and then a 3rd one from an egg. And the way they explained it is you have to get the blood that is pumping through the body. Once the heart stops beating, the special cells that they're looking for die almost immediately. So I'm not a scientist, but my thinking is what you needed was the blood as it's pumping through the body. If it's in an embryo, 1, is that enough blood? 2, what state is the embryo in? If it's in an egg, it's not pumping blood like that. And it's not enough to collect a big enough sample. So that was just dumb to me. And then you had the animals in here act just as dumb as the characters. So as they're getting the embryo biomess juice or whatever into the syringe, the mom shows up, comes in, and starts attacking Scarlett Johansson and the archaeologist. They're fighting or whatever. There's a guy outside who yelled at them, to say, hey, there's a dinosaur here, even though they all are in the immediate area of where this thing landed. So the way this thing is edited in certain sequences is like, this is dumb because they all should be aware of it at the same time. There's no way it landed softly. But like I said, most of these dinosaurs are ninjas, even though they all weigh a ton or more. So the dinosaurs in there attacking Scarlett Johansson and the archaeologist because it saw that they had the egg. So of course the dinosaurs protecting the baby. Makes sense. But then you have the French guy who's on the outside. He throws something at the dinosaur. The dinosaur turns his attention to the French guy and goes from frantically trying to kill Scarlett Johansson and archaeologists to slowly emerging from its cave to go and kill the French guy. And I'm just like, yeah, no. He wasn't an ongoing threat, so there's no way that the dinosaur should have turned around and focused its sole attention on him. Because the dinosaur literally leaves the cave, climbs up, chases the French guy to eat him at the top, and then comes down to try to... It was so stupid. So you mean to tell me your duty as a mom to protect your egg just got thrown out the window because somebody threw something at you one time? You have 2 threats in the cave and 1 threat outside. 2 threats that's near your babies. We're going to go with process of elimination here and say that you would go eliminate the 2 threats that's near your babies first. The last one, not really much of a threat. So that was another dumbass scene. And there's multiple that I can't even fucking recall right now. But this movie is utterly stupid. It's not even worth your time. It's not worth a rewatch. It's not even worth streaming. There was no saving grace in the action. The tension wasn't built up correctly because the characters act stupid, then the dinosaurs act stupid. And it's just like, what are we doing here? There's no logical progression of any of the peril that they're in. So it doesn't even, you can't build tension when the way they get to almost being eaten doesn't even make sense. Like there's a scene in a grocery store that's on the island where Isabella, the little daughter of the family, the dinosaurs hears her, goes to chase her. She jumps into a freezer, knows to put up her coat or her backpack, whatever it was, and the dinosaur its reflection is showing. So now the dinosaur is just in awe of its reflection all of a sudden. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm sure you've seen your reflection before. And it's not even like a mirror one-to-one reflection. It's a ghost reflection. And then at one point, this same dinosaur decides to jump down a fucking tunnel to go chase after them. Let me just set this up. So after this dinosaur the mutated pterodactyl jumps down to the vents, suddenly the father, who is in the vents with his family, who happened to hurt his knee earlier in the film when they jumped off the boat, all of a sudden his knee doesn't hurt anymore. He can run, crawl, squat. Anyway, you knew just the way that the fact that the film spent 30 minutes on his family, that nobody in that family was dying. And then Scarlett Johansson's character and the archaeologists are trying to form this dumbass love bond or whatever relationship. And the archaeologist tries to coerce her to not do what she was getting paid to do, which is take the dinosaur DNA back and become a millionaire. Instead, he's like, oh yeah, be a free spirit and give this cure to the world, because they're trying to cure heart disease. And she's quote unquote struggling with it, and Scarlett or the script is not, well, Scarlett's not even doing a good job at selling the struggle. Like I said, they're on vacation acting in this movie. And by the end of the movie, she's just like, oh yeah, you know what? The bad guy, the evil guy who hired us to do this, he died, of course. And so, yeah, now I just decided, yeah, we're going to give this to the world. And I'm just like, okay, what the None of the characters was in trouble. Like, we ended with damn near the same amount of characters that we started with. Nobody was in real jeopardy. We only needed dinosaur fodder to get through this movie. Anyway, this film is a hot mess. Like I said, the ending was god awful. Mahershala Ali just waves the flare around. They get on the boat. Mahershala Ali disappears off screen and shows up in the next scene where the boat picks him up like around the corner. And the end of the film, the dinosaur, the D-Rex roars, and that's it. It was so anticlimactic. They didn't have to makeshift any weapons, nothing. It was just like, oh, here's a distraction, get on the boat, okay, meet me around back, and we're out of here. Anyway, that's my rant / review. Horrible pacing, bloated runtime, horrible story, and decent to bad acting. All right, Universal, here's a bonus for you. When you reboot this franchise again, whether soft or hard, here's the pitch. Squid Game meets Jurassic Park. And the premise goes like this. After the fall of Jurassic Park, the island has been taken over by criminal elites who host illegal survival games on the island. Criminals are taking bets on who will emerge the victor. The winner gets a large payout, and if he or she decides to return to the game, they get a care package of their choosing. I won't watch another Jurassic Park movie until this happens. And you could just give me executive producer credits, no money needed. Thanks. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, dislike if you dislike it. I am out.